You have to read. Make sure you're reading every day. Now I'm playing. This is tips for the average guy. We're on tip number 9. Read. Let's get into it. Okay, so this tip number 9, which is read more, is not exclusive, although it's important, it's not exclusive to books or any type of written material. This comes in the form of reading everything around you. Almost like an omniscient being, taking in all the information, deciphering it, uncoding it, and seeing what lies beneath the surface. So, you want to start reading into people very heavily. How they act, what they say, and what they do. It reveals so much about them. Let's refer back to tip number 2. Less is more. Speak less. Silence is golden. So, and there's a lot of ways you can go about this, right? Depending on who you're talking to, you want to make sure you're always observant of what is going on around you, around them. Pick up on the subtleties, okay? What do they call it? Reading the room, right? Yeah, read the room. Make sure, and this ties into, I guess, like just social events, parties, etc. Who's where? What are they doing? What's this group? Who are all these people? Why are they here? These things are important just for your whole social cognizance and surroundings and all that other stuff. Reading people's energy, even in one-on-one settings. Being able to tell if they're in a bad mood, if they're off-put, if they're disgruntled, if they're very happy, excited, and jovial. You want to be able to read these situations in a split second and determine how you're going to act. Honestly, for me personally, I like to keep on a hard mask that can pretty much be adapted to anyone's energy, vibration, whatever you want to call it. And that allows me to, like, when I read them, tone it either up or down depending on who or what we're talking to or about. Now let's just get into reading in general. So reading in general helps with your memory. It helps with your focus. You actually use more muscles than in your eyes to focus and read than you do lifting weights. This is an absolute fact. You can look this up. If you ever notice when you start to read a book, you get real sleepy and you get real tired. It's because you're using so much eye muscles to stay focused on what you're reading that it's just exerting that much force to make you sleepy and tired. So reading in that aspect is important, and you never really want to stop learning in the first place. You should always be wanting to find new information. So this directly ties into reading written stuff, articles, and all that other stuff. I want to say at this age, I'm 26. If you're on my age group, this is obvious too. You can no longer do things for fun, if that makes sense. That's not to say you can't have any downtime at all. But if I'm reading, I like reading. I enjoy it. I don't do it for fun. Not at all. I do it to gain something. I'm doing this to gain something. I only play Xbox now to make content to gain something. Leisure activities, and this will probably be a tip in itself almost. It's almost like the last tip, stay out of your world till theirs is complete. Leisure activities have to become a second priority to whatever you're creating or making. Back to reading though. I want to suggest a few books. If you're conscious heavy, or how you kids say it today, awake. If you're that type of person, you want to get into stuff like The Flower of Life, Volume 1 and 2 by Drumbelow Melchizedek. If you're looking for more information on how you can improve certain skills, the 48 Laws of Power is obviously a classic that everyone always recommends, so that's always on the table. Negotiation strategies. A book on body language is always good to help you with certain things. Just knowing people's stances, positions, how they fold their arms means they're defensive. If they look up away to the right or the left, it could indicate lying. Just little things like that will help you dissect people very quickly, what their intentions are. Like anytime I'm in a conversation and it's getting a little too hot, and I see someone do this means what? They're putting their guard up. Now they're defensive. Now they're ready to fight. Or they're ready to hold back. They're ready to be disgruntled about it. They're not open. Anytime I see this, open palms, what does this mean? Surrender, innocence, a non-threat, basically. So you wanna get into reading on all levels. The physical level of people, the physical level of books, the mental and psychological level of people and places. You want to read every situation as if it is a book. So when you are reading it, you can decipher it as such. I think it's one of the best skills that you can probably master. And if you learn to love to read, then that becomes something special. Because then you're doing it out of a place of genuineness. It's coming from a genuine place. Let's just say that. If you learn to love to read content in general, it's coming from a genuine place. That way it's a lot easier to do. So that's my tip for number 9. Read more. Read more books. Read more people. Read more situations. Read more circumstances. The easiest way to do this too, by the way, because I didn't really go in how to do it. I mean, I did, but yeah. The easiest way to do this is don't talk so much. Just observe, watch everything that goes on. And then think why they're doing these things, or think why it's happening this way, or think what is going on here. And then you can ask questions to decipher the truth. You can use deductive reasoning to come to some answers in the truth. But overall, you want to get good at stepping back and analyzing everything that is going on. And I promise you, once you really get good at it, it'll blow your mind. You'll be at a family function. You'll see your aunt and your uncle talking. And then you'll notice auntie from across the room staring at uncle like he did something wrong or something. You're like, oh, that's interesting. Let me keep that as a mental note. She's upset with him because something, and now they're talking. What's going on with the kids? Okay. So she's sitting by herself, but those are her 2 sisters, but she's with the other cousins. But she's only 3 years younger than them, so they should roughly be around the same people, but she's not. What's going on with that? Okay. So, yeah, there's a lot of ways you could take it. There's a lot of ways you could take that. Like, just get better at reading in general. Everything. People, situations, places, books, times. Just get better at overall observation. That's what this tip really should be. Observation. But I wanted to tie in reading because because the average guy should be reading more books. More helpful books, that is. Not no fantasy type, Harry Potter type fucking Twilight bullshit. You don't got time for that. You're too old. You should have did that in high school through college. You're too fucking old to read anything that's not going to directly impact your consciousness. All right. Yeah. And I'm stressing that because reading takes a lot more time than watching. Well, I mean, I guess they would really take the same time, but reading takes a lot more focus and energy than doing something idle like watching a cartoon show or video game. So you want to make sure the time that you're investing will be well worth it. And I know I can't judge. Oh well, if it's worth it's worth to me just because it's not worth to you. But I'm saying, would you rather have some? Would you rather be reading something that can impact you in the future, like how to grow like stocks, cryptocurrency, or tax liens, tax deeds, etc., or just like a fantasy book that you can't apply to the real world? You want to read things that are going to feed your mind. You want to read things that are going to feed you spiritually, emotionally, and it just enhance you as a person. So, read more, stay on the grind. This is Tips for the Average Guy. I'm your host, Abstract, Dylan Mitchell, aka Pleasant Trainer. You know what it is. You know what the deal is, okay? So yeah, read more. Read me. What do you guys think about me? Off of what you've seen, the interactions that I've did. This is on tip number 9. So you guys have seen me 9 times. Read me. But you can tell probably I sometimes mess up or stumble over words, so that could indicate nervousness. I talk like I'm confident, maybe, but I could really be confident. You might not know it. Read it, see what it is, figure it out. Let me know. So yep, that's our tip for number 9, guys. Read more books. The 10th tip is coming up, guys. This will be the 10th tip. If you've stayed with me this long and you're implementing 1 through 9, you're on your way to being above the average guy. Right? Now you're the middle guy. Nah. But yeah, guys, that was tip number 9. Read more. Books, people, places, things. Read all of the above. Get better at it. Let people know. Let yourself know that you know what's going on without saying anything. That was fire. I'm writing that down. Read more, you bastards.